If you're running a call funnel for your high ticket offer, I want to show you, if you give me 5 minutes, a really simple trick that you can use to substantially lower your cost per booked call and also at the same time increase your show rates. If you're running any sort of paid ads right now, you're definitely going to want to watch this. So, right here on screen, what I have is the results for my client, just so you know I'm not full of crap. So, up here on the top, here, you have basically these dates here. All right, you have April to June. So a good solid couple months. And what you see is we were averaging about, just under $300 per call. Down here, now we're getting $20 per booked call. We didn't change anything crazy. If anything, I felt like these ads, the creative of those ads were honestly better than the ads that we're running here. This ad here, super simple ad. It's just text-based as opposed to some of these videos that are up on the top there. They were really hardcore creative that took a ton of time to script and all these things. But why is it working so well? Well, it really has something to do with the way that you're looking at your audience as a high ticket offer. Now, obviously, when we're building funnels for high ticket offers, one of the things that we need to think about doing is making sure that the creative that we're running and the targeting that we're using falls in line with our niche. So you have your market here, and then, somewhere in here, we're picking the niche that we're going to be focused on, right? So you could have, the total Facebook audience here, and then let's say you have a fitness niche. Now, one of the things that we did, and that a lot of marketers do, is you then pick a niche within a niche. So you say, okay, I'm not just going to have a fitness offer, obviously. I'm not going to run ads broadly for a fitness offer. Maybe you say, I'm going to run ads for men who are over 40 and want a six pack, right? And that's great. That's kind of what the red reflects is like, okay, I'm not just going to run ads for fitness in general. I'm not going to create an offer for fitness in general. I'm going to create an ad specific to a type of person. But what we did was we actually went one step further than that and actually chose a niche within a niche within a niche. Now, stick with me here. I know it sounds kind of complicated, but I'll actually tell you what we did. So these ads that we ran up here, this client, they're in the medical space, right? So if we look at the medical space and we say, okay, this whole audience here is everybody in the medical space. And then here, what they were running ads for was the chiro space. Now that's already fairly niche down, and that's what we were doing before, and that's what a lot of you are probably doing is like, okay, I'm in, a general category. I'm going to run ads to a specific niche, and obviously your offer is going to be specific to whatever that niche is. It could be helping people lose weight, it could be helping people invest in real estate. But the problem with doing that though is if you look at your feed today as opposed to a couple years ago, what you're probably seeing is way more ads than you did before. I bet half of your news feed is probably filled with ads. It doesn't matter if you're on Facebook or on Instagram. Half or at least 1/3 of the posts that you see on your feed are going to be ads. What is that causing people to do? Well, they're drowning in information. And so now instead of thinking, okay, this is good enough for me, they're talking to chiropractors or they're talking to people who want to lose weight or that stuff worked in the past. It doesn't work as well anymore. So what you need to do now is, sure, do you want to target this audience? Yeah, because it's the furthest down you can really drill down when you're talking about choosing a cold traffic audience on Facebook or Meta or whatever. But what you want to do, and what we did, is we drilled down even further with the creative. So here, with the creative, we went hyper niche. And I'll tell you what that looked like in a second, so you can kind of copy it. Here, though, at the ad targeting level, it's really hard to go hyper niche. So we just kind of stayed at the niche level. So, doctors who, like doctors of chiro, things like that, obviously. And so by matching these two things together, what ends up happening? Well, obviously this is kind of what we were doing before. We were getting really expensive booked calls. But as you have your hyper targeted creative running where you're calling out a specific type of chiropractor, we didn't change our offer or change the services or anything like that. All we did was we called out a specific type of chiropractor in the ads to the point where it felt almost ridiculous to even run the ads. So if you know anything about chiropractors, they do a lot of different types of treatment: wound care, neuropathy, general chiro, all of those things. We just went way down and decided to pick the niche that we wanted to work with the most, that had the highest value service, which was wound care docs and integrative pain docs and a couple of different other ones. And we created hyper targeted ads for each of those audience. So, hyper targeted 1, hyper targeted 2. We were still running the same targeting, because you can't tell Facebook I want to just show this ad to wound care docs, or I just want to show this ad to integrative pain docs. All we did was we just made the creative the hyper niche. And so as Facebook understands the copy that you have and they analyze who's the person clicking on it the most, it knows more about these people than you or the person on your marketing team ever will. So there's no point in really trying to get so granular with the targeting in Facebook that you think you're going to be smarter than it. That's an impossibility. Does that also mean that you should completely ignore Facebook's targeting mechanisms? No. I never have any clients I work with try to turn on Advantage Plus targeting because it just never really works. What we instead have them do is use the normal targeting we would use anyway, but have your ad creative be so hyper targeted that it almost feels uncomfortable to do. And that's what ended up getting us from a $300 cost per booked call down to $20 cost per booked call without really changing anything. We didn't increase or decrease spend. We didn't change the landing page. We didn't build some complicated funnel, any of that stuff. If anything, the funnel is pretty simple, basic, and kind of ugly. And those have always worked the best for me. So if you're thinking about wanting to try something out and test something out to see if it works, try to think about the niche that you're targeting right now and think about how can I break that niche down one level further than what it is to see if I can get my ads to perform a little bit better.